Good evening, it's Valerie here. It is very, 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 very cold, and I'm actually waiting to go for a walk. Um, Not sure if this was the best idea, but I think almost every year I have a photo of myself like this, um, with a scarf and a hat, attempting to do exercise because I haven't done very much this week, and I'm grabbing the opportunity. Are you finding that you're making decisions and you're starting to wonder, the way that I would have done things maybe about 3 months, 4 months ago, a little bit different from how I'm doing things now, and you find yourself maybe even doing a bit of an audit and thinking, I don't know if I still want to head in that same direction as where I was going before. Hey, Arthur, greetings from my garage. And I want to say that that's perfectly normal. What we know when something like what we're going through right now hits us as a society and as an individual, most of the time we will take some time to think about the relationships that we have and also the activities and the direction that we're heading. It gives us an opportunity to really clarify for ourselves what was important. Maybe it's not as important anymore. Maybe you might find that prior to all of this stuff happening, you were heading in a direction because you thought that that was the best thing to do because other people thought that that was the best thing to do. Maybe you'd made a couple of decisions that were based around values that have changed a little for yourself, or even gotten more and more clarified as you've watched the degree of loss that has gone on around us and the sense of lack of control that we may have. We may want to actually grab onto things that give us a deeper sense of appreciation and strength for who we are. So, for example, one of the things in the practice we've really been reflecting on, and I've had even today my colleague reflect back to me, is how much we believe in the value of generosity, how much we actually anchor and delve into that as a team, and how much we're really relying on our joint values of generosity and respect being a very important value for me, and that we're being generous with our time, we're being generous with our emotions with one another, being really patient and gracious. As you can imagine, there are mistakes being made. Machines aren't working. The internet is really slow, and for some of us, and for me in particular, it's really coming to see that while I can be a real stickler for efficiency and competency and professionalism, being able to have a generosity of mind and be able to say that we're all going through a really tough time, and what's actually emerging is some of the characteristics of our team that we probably haven't seen before, and then actually saying to ourselves, well, or even for me to say to myself, I'm getting new information that's shaping decisions that I'm now wanting to make about what we do, even at home as a family. Really seeing that some of the fault lines of the arguments that we have at home tend to really come to the fore, and you kind of look at it, and now here's the thing, you might start to actually rewrite some of the relationship scripts that you have for one another. Here's what I want to suggest. Before you make any hasty decisions, and while it's perfectly all right to dig deep and relook some of the decisions that you might have made prior, you really need to have some time to decompress and to think carefully and let your emotions come down to baseline, and not be having a state of reacting out of anger or anxiety or fear or worry or even boredom, and be very, very aware. I'm going for a walk with a dear friend tonight, and I really need some time to decompress. I need to say all the stuff that's really going on in my head and do some sorting so that I can start labeling what I'm feeling and what I'm thinking, and get really clear perspective on which of that stuff is fleeting and probably will resolve because it's not a true reflection of my core beliefs and what I value, and which of it has come from a genuine transformation as we've gone through this 4, 5, 6 weeks of breaking the practice apart, doing family differently, and figuring out, okay, there are some of these things that are shifting and changing in the way that we see one another and the way that we're relating. And being patient with some of our ideas for what that means going forward. We don't have to definitely say, right now, this is the way, what we're going to do differently. No, we don't have to do that. We don't have to say that for right now we've got all the answers and we're going to make this happen. I'd suggest you decompress, take some time really to think about what it is that it means, and treat it as an opportunity to do a bit of internal housekeeping that could really mark the next chapter for you in a slightly different direction from where you were before, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. I do believe my walking partner is nearly here. All right, catch you later.